Good morning. Well, as we've been talking about, this is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? This is almost so it feels to me like we're careening into the holiday season. You know, the practitioners asked me at our last meeting, "Are we doing something for Christmas Eve?" And I said, "Yike, yes." So we're busy planning that right now. And also, if you're planning on as John mentioned, if you're planning on having Thanksgiving with us, be sure to sign up, and you sign up in two places. One for the dish that you're bringing, and one in an empty place on the table, so you'll be sure to have a seat. So, and I'm really looking forward. I think it's going to be a beautiful. I think we've got about 35 or 36 people signed up already, and I'd love to see 50 or 60. You know, that would be great. Well, today we're concluding our series, Lessons from the Land, with our topic, Our Bountiful Harvest. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us we lift our cup of acceptance to the divine bounty when we think affirmatively and give thanks to the giver of all life. Daily, we should practice affirming that our cup is filled and running over, always remembering that what we affirm for ourselves, we must affirm for others. Living and letting live, giving and receiving, loving and being loved, our cup of acceptance will be ever filled from the bounty of God's abundance. So all this month we've used the different lessons from the land to understand that the law of cause and effect is at work in our lives as well as the farm. And farmers must yield to the natural rhythm of what Stephen Covey calls the law of the farm, or they won't achieve a bountiful harvest. You and I need to consider the decisions, the choices that we make. Are they in alignment with our true essence? Will they lead to our own bountiful harvest? And the thoughts, ideas, attitudes, and beliefs are the seeds that we sow. And like the farmer who cannot sow seeds of cucumber and expect tomatoes, we cannot sow angry, resentful, fearful thoughts and expect to reap an outcome of love, joy, peace, and harmony. Lessons from the Land also tells us that weeds must be uprooted so that they don't choke the growth of what has been planted. So you and I must stand guard at the portal of our mind so that those weeds of resentment, criticism, anger, self-loathing cannot creep in to choke the beautiful expressions of God that we are. Life is always to us what we believe it to be, and life can bestow abundance upon us only when we acknowledge the blessings we already have. So this is the perfect time of the year, I think, to talk about how blessed we are and the importance of gratitude, because Tukan Olam is gratitude personified, gratitude in action as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I remember when my son was really little. He was about 5 or 6 years old. He came home really, really unhappy. He'd been playing with a friend, and he started telling me everything that his friend had that he didn't. Including a huge amount of toys, and he had a little brother to play with, and I've got nobody, and I've got nothing. And he went on and on. And if you looked at our situation, it was true that he was an only child, and I was a single mom. I couldn't buy the things for him that the parents of his friend could buy. But I thought about it, and then I asked him, I said, I'd like you to spend a little time in your room writing down all the things that you do have to be thankful for. Like a normal 6 or 7 years old, he said at first, "No, I don't want to do that." But after some motherly urging, he did begin his list. And the sweet thing was that he was gone much longer than what I expected. But when he came out of his room, he had a smile on his face and a very long list. And the only thing that I can still remember that he had written was, "I don't have to share my room with a little brother." Cute. When we come from that filled up space of having counted our blessings and giving thanks for the good in our lives, then we can focus that sense of joy, love, and abundance to all the people who cross our path. We do it naturally. In I Had It All the Time, Alan Cohen writes, "While we have searched for therapists, gurus, spirit guides, and channeled entities to show us how to live, two powerful allies stand ready to deliver all the fulfillment we desire. The two big G's are gratitude and generosity. Gratitude and generosity are inseparable sides of the same divine coin. If you are grateful for what you have received, you will naturally and joyfully want to share those blessings. Then as you extend your love to others, you open the door to even greater abundance to flow into your life. The more you give, the more you will be given, and the more you will have available to give." The principle is the heaven on earth inverse of the fearful mind's notion of a vicious cycle. We might call it a delicious cycle. The most generous people in the world are also the most grateful. Those who understand the dynamics of abundant living know that joyful givers are also willing receivers. The divine circuit flows as we accept blessings with one hand and pass them along with the other. French theologian John Calvin said, "All the blessings we enjoy are divine deposits, committed to our trust on this condition, that they should be dispensed for the benefit of our neighbors." Often when we do bless others by contributing to their happiness, well-being, or prosperity, the blessing that we receive in return is greater than the blessing that we have just given out. A farmer in the Midwest consistently grew award-winning corn. Each year he entered his corn in the state fair, where it always won the blue ribbon. And one year a newspaper reporter interviewed him and discovered that the farmer shared his seed corn with his neighbors. "How can you afford to share your best seed corn with your neighbors when they are entering corn in competition with yours each year?" the reporter asked. The farmer said, "The wind picks up pollen from the ripening corn and swirls it from field to field. If my neighbors grow inferior corn, cross-pollination will steadily degrade the quality of my corn. If I am to grow good corn, I must help my neighbors grow good corn." The fearful, isolated heart would see the sharing of corn seed as helping the competition. But the grateful heart understands the connectedness of all things and joyfully shares with others, where all are benefited by the experience. The value of a life is measured by the life it touches. The welfare of each one of us is bound up in the welfare of all of us. We have to realize that the more of our good we give, the more good others will have, the more we will all have, and this is the way it works. A blind boy sat on the steps of a building with a hat by his feet. Next to it was a sign that said, "I am blind, please help." There were only a few coins in the hat. A man walked by, took a few coins from his pocket, and dropped them into the hat. He then took the sign, turned it around, and wrote some words. He put the sign back so that everyone who walked by would see the new words. Soon, the hat began to fill up. A lot more people were giving money to the blind boy. And that afternoon, the man who had changed the sign came to see how things were going. The young boy recognized the man's footsteps and asked, "Were you the one who changed my sign this morning? What did you write?" The man said, "I only wrote the truth. I said what you said, but in a different way. I wrote, 'Today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it.'" Both signs told the people that the boy was blind. The first sign simply said that. But the second sign touched the heart of the passers-by, reminding them of the blessing of their own ability to see. And if we think of Alan Cohen's alliances of gratitude and generosity, then gratitude for their ability to see sparked generosity in their response to someone who could not. When we practice gratitude, we find blessings everywhere. In the story of creation from the book of Genesis, God, after each new creation, affirmed it as good. This is good, this is good, and very good. And so we too must see the good in all things. Alan Cohen says, in being grateful, we return to our true nature, which opens the doors for us to enjoy the bounty of heaven even while on earth. My favorite website and probably favorite person to talk about gratitude is Brother David Stendal Rast, and his website is gratefulness.org. So I went to his site this morning, and I found 4 practices to cultivate a truly grateful Thanksgiving. And I have copies on the table. There's a little half-sheet beige if you want them. And this is what they have. First, notice all the factors that go into your travels this week. A working vehicle, the ability to drive, public transportation, friends who do driving for us, infrastructure, gasoline and gas stations, and devices that help keep everybody safe. How might you honor those gifts? We don't think about thanking a gas station. Number 2, each day tell someone in your life that you appreciate them. You might even try it with someone you're struggling with personally. How does it feel to verbally express your appreciation for someone? What happens in your body? What happens in your heart? And how does it impact that relationship? 3, take time to wholeheartedly express gratitude for all the people who serve you in some way. And rather than a quick thank you, explore what it feels like to pause, to make eye contact, maybe even steal a glance at the person's name tag so that you can add their name when you say thank you. Wish them well and mean it. And then consider, how does this shift your experience of receiving? How does the practice shift your experience of thanking others? I think it deepens it, doesn't it? And then the 4th one is try to savor every moment. Focus especially on those moments when completing tasks that may feel mundane or tiresome. Open up and lean into every moment of travel, red lights and all, every task of cleaning, grease-stained and all, every step of cooking, vegetable peeling and all, every interaction with another person less than easy and all. And then consider, how might gratefulness change your perspective on experiences that might feel like a chore? How can you find joy in every moment, both challenging and pleasurable? Brother Lawrence found God saw God in the pots and pans that he was washing. You and I tend to turn things around. Sometimes we believe that when we're truly happy, then we can give thanks. I'm happy because I'm so happy I can be thankful. But the truth is that as we cultivate gratitude and live as thankful people, then we are happy. It's the other way around. I grew up with summers in the Ozarks, and for the first 4 years that my grandparents lived there, our water was from a pump. And you had to go out in the morning and you had to pump it. You didn't feel a thing, and then all of a sudden there was this little shoo, and then the water started flowing. Cultivating gratitude is like priming the pump. So what we're saying here is, well, I'm going to wait until there's flowing water, and then I'm going to prime the pump. And gratitude is also like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes, and the stronger it becomes, so does our ability to be generous, because generosity, as Alan said earlier, is the other side of the coin. And so when we give from that thankful heart, then we become the happiest people on the planet. It is so simple to see. So simple to see. Dr. Joseph Murphy says, the thankful heart is always close to the creative forces of the universe, causing countless blessings to flow toward it by the law of reciprocal relationship based on a cosmic law of action and reaction. And so we've come full circle. The lessons from the land tell us that we cannot have a bountiful harvest unless we understand and use the law of cause and effect, the law of reciprocal action. You and I reap what we sow. A thankful heart sows seeds of generosity, kindness, compassion. A thankful heart sees this world and everything in it as a blessing. As we share this Thanksgiving with family and friends, let's come to each encounter with a thankful heart. Let's be mindful of the blessings that are all around us, even those in disguise. And let's share our own bountiful harvest, which is the essence of who we are, with everyone we meet. I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Namaste.